Start this just like we started last week with Chase Brown. They called me a madman. They said Chase Brown was a scrub. He might be all of those things. He might be a scrub, but Father Joe Flacco is now in town. His offense looks very competent, man. Boy, was I wrong about Chase, Brown, Higgins. Look, I thought it was going to be Browning the whole season, but nevertheless, last week I said he was a buy low candidate. He goes 11 carries for 108 yards. It's 9.8 yards per carry. It's one of his best probably one of his best yards per carry ever in his career. With 10 carries or more. So he was just busting off chunk plays all game, man. A couple of big, like a 37 yarder and I believe like a 20-yard run kind of really helped pad that, where he didn't really have to do too much the rest of the day, right? He just had to be decent, but he looked good on most of his carries, man. The Bengals scored 33 points. He didn't get a touchdown. He didn't get a single touchdown in this game. That's a little bit concerning. He only had 11 fantasy points and half PPR. 4 targets is decent, but for -8 yards, what the fuck are we doing out here? I know he had one big drop. I think it would have been like a 20-yard reception, and he dropped it in the middle of the field, but he still looked good. Nevertheless, the rest of the game, he looked pretty good. One stat that I don't love for Chase Brown when it comes to trading for him is that the Bengals are top 10 in pass rate in the red zone. So when they get to the red zone, they get, within the 20-yard line, they're throwing the ball. And I think it's because their O-line is bad. I think it's obviously because they have Chase and Higgins. Those are like your percentage of scoring a touchdown is just so much higher when you're throwing the ball to Chase and Higgins. That's fair. I will not say I'll not bash them for that, but I will say I do think that they're top 10 in pass rate in the red zone. It's probably because of that schedule, man. And I want to show you guys this expected fantasy points chart. This is all the running backs. And Chase Brown is actually 11th on the season in expected fantasy points. His first 2 weeks with Burrow really helped him out. He had a lot of touches. He had 18 expected fantasy points both of those weeks. Since then, tapered off a bit, but again, really tough defenses. They're playing from behind all those games. 15-10, 15-8, and then 12.7 expected last game. What that essentially tells me is that he's still getting a decent like RB2 type volume. And that's, as I mentioned, again, man, against really tough opponents. So their schedule really gets a lot easier. Just to put it into perspective, man, their first 6 weeks, Cleveland first against running backs, Jacksonville 10th against running backs, Minnesota 19th, Denver 4th, Detroit 6th, Green Bay 5th. They've been getting smashed, dude. I think Pittsburgh also last week were 6th against running backs on the season. That's a little bit fluky because the Steelers did have just a couple of really good performances against running backs, but on the season, still, man, being 6th and the fact that he was able to do this. Next up, they get the Jets, Bears, Steelers again, Patriots, Ravens, Bills. Check this shit out from Fantasy Pros, man. It's the rest of season strength of schedule. We got Chase Brown. He's ranked 27th on running backs, but he has a 4-star strength of season and a 4-star playoff. So he has a really good schedule coming up, man. He's very cheap. The vibes are very low on Chase Brown. Like even in a good game, he only really got like 11 fantasy points. So you can just get him for extremely cheap, man. Let's look at a couple of these trades here. Chase Brown for Trey Tucker straight up. I'll take Chase Brown for sure. This is a 5-player trade here. So we got AJ Brown, Trey McBride, and Chase Brown. And you're giving up Saquon and Jameson Williams. I'm sorry, man, but I'm doing that any day of the week, dude. You're getting Trey McBride. You're getting Chase Brown, a startable running back. You only have to give up Saquon, and Jameson Williams is essentially unstartable at this point. So the fact that A.J. Brown is just someone that you can toss in your lineup and just see what happens on any given week. Judy for Chase Brown. I mean, come on, man. Judy is unstartable. You can't really play him, right? Diggs and Brown for Bucky. That's one where I'd probably take Bucky if I'm honest, man. I just think Bucky has like top 7, top 8 potential rest of the season when he comes back. Chase Brown for Rachaad White. Give me Chase Brown because Rachaad White's value is just going to plummet as soon as Bucky Irving comes back. And then these last trades here, we got DK Metcalf and Brown for Allen and Myers. I don't really know. I mean, I guess if you're really desperate at quarterback, it's only a start 8 league. So Chase Brown for Kenneth Walker. I think I'll probably lean Chase Brown just because of this last game with Walker again getting no touchdown, no goal line carries. So I think I'll take Chase Brown. I'll take my chances with this schedule, with them having a really easy schedule rest of the season. If you guys want specific help on some trades, Discord link down below. Dope community. It's community driven. People are going to help you out. You can throw a poll in there and we'll help you figure out your trade decisions. Next up is Bill. I got him on this list again, 2 back-to-back weeks for Bill. I'm very high on Bill as a talent, what his potential is. We kind of saw it in week 5. He had like 26 fantasy points. Since then, tough sledding indeed. All of his advanced metrics are really low. JD5 is not getting an MRI. He might have a pretty bad hamstring injury. It could be like a 1 or 2 injury. We just don't know. Dallas Cowboys matchup should have been a smash. He only goes 13 for 33, only gets 2 targets. This is a brutal one, man. This is one where it's like, should we actually be trading low for him? But I want to show you guys this again. Fantasy Pros rest of season schedule. Jacory Croskey-Merritt has the absolute easiest schedule coming up. 5 stars, man, rest of season, and then 4 stars in the playoffs. At the end of the day, he's a starting running back. He's getting starting running back volume and opportunities for a really good team. That's the general idea here, man. Like, he's still just kind of an unknown guy. He's a rookie. He's very like inconsistent. He only really has like 2 good games on the season. So he's so incredibly cheap. You get him as a throw-in. I can't imagine this team continuing to use Chris Rodriguez and Jeremy McNichols too long. McNichols potentially maintains a role, but they got to go to Bill, man. They got to get him going. They got to get him juiced. They got to get him a little bit more work so he can get a little bit of momentum. Let's look at some of the trades here. We got Bill and Tajay for Debo. I think I'd take that, Jacory and Tajay side. If you're running back needy, obviously if you're like really starved at wide receiver, it's probably better to have Debo. Corey for Jerry Jeudy, straight up, easily, man. Jacory for DJ Moore down here. I'll take Jacory. Just DJ Moore looks like he's on his way out. Looks like he's not a big part of this offense. Bill for Keon Coleman and Coker. Come on, bro. Keon Coleman, unstartable. Jalen Coker, I love the man, but you can't put him in your lineup. I don't know if you're ever going to be able to, especially with this Xavier Leggett actually being decent, man. So I would take Bill in that situation. All right, next up, we got Kyren Williams, man. Diminishing workload throughout the season. So this is one where I think a lot of people are looking to sell him. I think he's probably a decent buy low, man. At 15 total opportunities, the Rams scored like 13 touchdowns last game from like the 1 yard line. There's an alternate reality somewhere in the multiverse where Kyren had 3 touchdowns. Adams was a bust. He had no touchdowns, 30 yards. Corum had 13 touches here. Poor efficiency on them. Look, this is the general idea, man. He's a starting running back on a top 5 offense. I'm pretty sure he has like blackmail on Sean McVay. It's him and Ramondre Stevenson, bro. They're running like a P. Diddy Epstein type of blackmail ring. It's the only possible reason for them just remaining so heavily involved. They get the contract extension. Kyren Williams, for anybody disagreeing with me and saying that Kyren Williams is him, when was the last time you saw Kyren Williams have like a run more than like 30 yards or 20 yards, man? He doesn't have any explosives. He has 2 fumbles on the season already. He's kind of just a guy, man. At the end of the day, it's the system. Like if anybody who disagrees with that and thinks Kyren individually is like a difference-making running back, just look at Darrell Henderson's rookie season with the Rams, and he was like a top 6 guy, bro. Like, come on. Kyren Williams is just a guy, but he's in the system. And if you are the starting running back for a Sean McVay system, you are a top 10 running back. That's just the way things go, man. Death taxes and Sean McVay running back and Shanahan running backs being heavily involved, heavily productive, man. And looking over here at rest of season, we see 3 stars rest of season, then 3 stars in the playoffs. He's still the RB9 here on Fantasy Pro. So, they see him as a top 10. I see him as a top 10. Value-wise, people might be a little bit down on him. He's a little bit inconsistent, right? 27 points, then 15, and then 7. You see Corum getting a lot of work. You see his diminishing workload. That could be a sell opportunity, man. That could be something where maybe you send the trade and be like, yo, let me get him off your hands before Blake Corum takes the job, which he probably won't, let's be honest. I was saying early in the season, I'll fucking Venmo anyone $1 if Corum doesn't take Kyren Williams' job. Probably going to be wrong on that. Just Corum, injuries, not very efficient recently. Again, P. Diddy Epstein blackmail. So I think Kyren Williams is just going to remain the starter. And that, that's just a job that we want, man. Go out and trade for Kyren Williams. When it comes to some trades you can make, I highlighted a couple that I saw in Fantasy Calc here. We got Kyren for J.K. Dobbins and Mason. I love that. You're basically taking 2 like RB2s, like, middling RB2s with diminishing value, right? J.K. Dobbins, he hasn't been that great this past couple weeks. Jordan Mason, he's been decent, right? He's been like a bona fide starter, right? But we got Aaron Jones coming back this week, man. And Jordan Mason has kind of just been, standard. He hasn't really been that special. He had that one good game, the first game Aaron Jones got injured. I love that. You're moving up at running back. You're getting like a bona fide top 10 guy for a couple dudes who you're not feeling too confident about, right? Kyren for Nico. I didn't highlight it because it's kind of a wash. I think I'd probably take Kyren. I just think he has a better consistency, better chance at a touchdown every given week, right? Because Stroud is just so damn inefficient. This was one that was interesting. The Fantasy Calc says that the Kyren side is winning pretty handily here, but we got Brown and Quentin Johnston for Kyren. Very interesting to me because Quentin Johnston is the wide receiver 10 on the season. Chase Brown, yes, he's only like the RB 25, I believe, but obviously Chase Brown, he's a buy candidate, right? He's a trade for candidate. So this can be one where you could bite yourself in the ass here. You're improving one position, but you're giving up 2 starters. So if you're deep and you have the depth and you're not really starting Brown and you don't really need to start Brown, maybe you have like a Jonathan Taylor and a Javonte Williams, you're just looking to like really solidify your RB spot, then I like that trade, right? Because you're only really giving up Quentin then at that point. Then another one, Kendrick Bourne and Kyren for J.K. Dobbins Warren. That one's easy. I know Jalen Warren had a really good workload and he's got like top 10 usage at the moment, but I just trust the offense, right? I trust the Rams a little bit more. And then Bourne is a nice little throw in there where you can probably start him in good matchups. We expect 49ers wide receivers to keep getting injured. CMC, the Grim Reaper, sapping the life out of everyone around him. So I'm just assuming that Juwan Jennings, he's dealing with like 26 different injuries. Ricky Pearsall looks like he's been Grim Reaped. So the problem is that people do see that this Rams offense is really good and that they'll probably not be willing to get rid of him for cheap. So you're probably going to have to like downgrade at running back, maybe upgrade at wide receiver, make some type of combo again. Next, we got Derrick Henry, man. 28 points in week 1. Jesse Pinkman meme, dude. He can't keep getting away with this. Since then, he did not get away with this, dude. He's been absolute, not trash, but look, man, they've had a tough schedule. Cleveland, Detroit, Kansas City, Houston, Rams. That is a tough slate of games. They're 1-5, bro. This team is absolutely down horrendous at the moment. Lamar Jackson went out. Derrick Henry didn't look good. They're getting smashed. And he only broke 13 fantasy points in week 6, man. And that was without Lamar Jackson. So Lamar Jackson went down in week 4, and he was bad weeks 2, 3, and 4, man. So this is not a situation where he was only bad because of Lamar. So why is he a buy low then? Well, like your league mates probably know, like the current owner of Derrick Henry probably knows, their schedule gets a lot better, bro. They get Chicago, Miami. Oh my God, that Miami game is going to be insane, dude. Quinshon Judkins just went for 3 touchdowns on them. Rico Dowdle, mid-ass Rico Dowdle had 30 fantasy points. So thus far, man, similar to Chase Brown, his schedule has just been brutal. And he's a running back that notoriously does not perform well in negative game script. He's just been a victim to the schedule, man. But as I mentioned, dude, Lamar Jackson's coming back. Let's look at rest of season rankings. He is still RB7 in rest of season. I don't love the fact that he has 2 stars in strength of schedule, 2 stars in the playoffs. It's not great. There's still a couple of tough matchups on the slate. You get Cleveland again in week 11. The Jets, who are kind of hit or miss when it comes to their run D. Pittsburgh, they've been decent. They just got gashed by Chase Brown. New England, who's actually really good, and then Green Bay, who's really good in the playoffs. So they get that week 15 against Cincinnati, which should be good. They get Cincinnati also in week 13, but you know, two stars not great. I highlighted a couple of these players here, like Saquon, Javonte, Cam. Now, typically, you're not going to just make like a 1-for-1 RB for RB trade, but if I were to, those are a couple of guys which I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to take the gamble on Henry with Lamar, turning it around in positive game scripts. Like Saquon Barkley for Derrick Henry straight up, dude. I think I'd probably do it, right? Because the Eagles have had everyone. They've had everyone. They've had Brown, they've had Smith, they've had Hurts, they've had the O-line. Carter and Mitchell were also out for a couple games, but nevertheless, man, he's been performing poorly with everyone there. Then we got Javonte Williams, 2-star rest of season. You know, he's been performing great, dude. He's been probably one of the best draft picks in fantasy football, but I think I take my chances with Henry, dude. I take my chances with this team. Really working hard to try to make the playoffs. I think they can make the playoffs. So they still play the Steelers twice this season, man. Keep in mind, they play them in week 14 and in week 18. So that's essentially a 4-game swing that they can steal from the Steelers if they win both those games. Obviously, they have to win a lot of games the rest of the season. So looking at a couple of trades, I didn't find too much on fantasy calc lately, but there's a couple that are interesting, right? Like you're giving up Jahmyr Gibbs here, but you're getting Henry, you're getting Benson, who could help us out a little bit once he returns. Then Pacheco looks like his arrow's pointing up. That's a tough one. I feel like when you get a guy like Gibbs, I'm not entirely sure I'd make this trade. Like 3 guys where you're not really that happy with 2 of them, right? Then we got Henry and Flowers for Hawk and Kyren. Kind of a wash. I feel like Kyren and Henry are kind of similarly ranked in my opinion. And then Zay Flowers, I think probably outproduces Hawkinson. That one was interesting. Swift for Henry, perfect buy low, right? Like Swift performing really well, Henry performing poorly. Sutton for Henry, even if you're wide receiver needy, I still think I'd take Henry, right? I just think he's gonna outscore Sutton. This one was also interesting. J.K. Dobbins and Flowers for Henry. I'd probably take the Henry side. I mean, J.K. Dobbins, his arrow is kind of pointing neutral, if not pointing down with his inefficient weeks. Zay Flowers, I just feel like Zay Flowers is someone that he can win you a week, but he can also really lose you a week. I just tend to stay away from players like that. That does it for the video, guys. Again, keep in mind, man, a lot of these guys, they're hard to obtain because, you know, running backs are very valuable. No one really wants to trade them away, especially Kyren and Derrick Henry. People know what they're capable of. These are like top 10 guys, right? But I hope you guys enjoyed the video anyway. I hope I gave some good arguments for these players. Thank you for being here. I truly, genuinely appreciate you guys giving me your time watching my videos. Like it if you do like it. Subscribe if you want to catch more of it. Make sure you guys join the Discord down below. As I mentioned in every video, it's a nice growing community. We're talking ball every day. We're helping each other with sit starts, trade advice, all that kind of good stuff. I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.